What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me today on this fine evening. Today, the subject of this video is going to be this bad boy here. It is the Visconti Homo Sapien limited edition Jade fountain pen. I got one in extra fine and I got one in medium. So let me start with the packaging. Nice solid box. It's huge. It's the size of an Xbox. And when you take this bad thing off, what you're left with is your standard Visconti interrogation head bag covering this nice, solidly built, very attractive fake leather box. When you open it up, what you got inside is this setup here. You got your pen, you got your international warranty, and underneath that, of course, you have your necessary ID card. Every pen needs an ID card. On the back, it just tells you what you got. You got a Visconti pen, that's the Homo Sapien Jade, green resin demo, fountain pen, 23 karat palladium dream touch nib. It has a double reservoir power filter, has some number and letters attached to it. The furniture on the pen is going to be palladium plated, not sterling silver as we had in the Florentine Hills model. This one happens to be number 13 of 188. This one here is a medium. Now I'm going to go over a few things on this pen. I'm going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they all have aspects of each. Has more good than it has bad or ugly. But let me start with the fountain pen. This is a fountain pen, as you can see. It has your standard Visconti Homo Sapien qualities. It's got your power filler. It has the double reservoir power filler in the case of this one, as it did for the Florentine Hills model and the London Fog model, which is, I think, really cool. When you have your double power filled filler, you got two sections. You got an inkwell here, and then you have a sealed upper reservoir, which holds about, from what I understand, a converter's worth of ink, which is a good amount of ink. You can go through in a whole day without even opening the power filler. When you do, the ink drops out, or you can pour your ink in and then seal it off. You're good to write. It's really convenient if you're in situations where the pen's going to be jostled a lot, or if you're flying, the pen won't explode on you. Flying and things exploding are things that you really want to avoid. Okay, now, the attention to detail with regard to this pen is something I genuinely appreciate. For one, the nib unit screws in to the center of the Homo Sapien wording on this band here, okay? So in your previous Florentine Hills, London Fog, or even your standard Homo Sapiens, the nib's always screwed all the way to the H, and for some reason, that not being centered drove me nuts. And I'm sure there's some collectors out there or utilizers that are OCD about it, and that would drive you guys crazy too. So knowing that, it's a good thing. It means that Visconti is paying attention to minutia that people are talking about. Next thing, nib. This is the extra fine. I didn't test the medium because it's brand new and I'm not going to unnew it and use it, but it wrote perfectly out of the box. Over the last couple of years, I've been reading about and hearing many reviews on Visconti and their nibs and how inconsistently they are when it comes to quality control of the nib. Same story for my Northern Lights here. Wrote perfectly out of the box. This one here is also an extra fine. I myself have a Homo Sapien Dark Age and a Homo Sapien Florentine Hills, and now this one. Never have I had a problem with the nibs, but if there's enough people out there saying that there's a problem, then there's probably a problem. I have not experienced that, and I'm hoping that this is an indication that Visconti is taking all the complaints and correcting it. Now, the finial, being made of real jade stone, is a very cool factor. Look at that. It's, instead of your standard Visconti Clip, you got a piece of real jade. Now, I don't know the value or what jade costs or how rare it is or how precious it is. All I can say is that does look really nice. Now, let me go on to the bad, because that was the good. The bad is the MSRP of $1,150, okay? Now, like I said, I'm not a mineralogist, jeweler, or scientist. I don't know the value of a jade stone or a jade stone this size. All I can say is $1,150 is a steep price to ask for a pen that is special by virtue of being green. Does it do anything else? No. All it does is be green. And that is why they're charging more money. That, and they etched in numbers saying that there's only 188 of them, therefore making it limited. Does it justify the costs? I'm not sure. Now, if somebody tells me that jade is super expensive, then yeah, it justifies the cost. But until someone tells me that, or until I can get verification on that, I'm not going to say that $1,150 is justifiable in terms of price for this pen. Of course, you can find it for $920 ballpark, around that price range, at the U.S. retailers such as Goulet Pens or Gold Spot. If you go to Gold Spot, do me a favor and say hi to Dawn. Tell her that I sent you. She does the right thing. She's solid. Now, $1,150, I know I'm harping on it. I can understand why a Visconti Homo Sapien, your standard maxi made of basaltic lava, pulls a hefty price of $700. The reason being is manufacturing this material and lathing it, from what I understand, actually causes damage to the machines that actually make the pen, and that's why it's expensive. It's also a very hard material, and it being such a hard material, it's difficult to manufacture. So that's why these cost a lot. Got it. Why does this cost a lot? Because it's green and numbered and has a rock on the finial. It is really nice. The resin is green. My favorite color. I love green. But is it $1,150 worth of love of green? It's kind of a bland green too, when you ask me. It's not a vibrant green. It's kind of a bland and flat green. It's translucent. That's nice. It's a demonstrator. It's cool. You can find far more interesting acrylics and resins at Edison Pens. They have a lot of different colors and resins, and definitely more interesting, and literally a tenth the price. Okay, now the other bad thing is this pen was originally for the European market only. So I bought it from outside the US. Reason being, it wasn't going to be available in the US. I even went on the customer service chat on Goulet Pens and asked them if they're going to get the green Homo Sapien. They said it's only for the European market. Hence, I got it outside the US. Then shortly after, guess what? It became available in the US. Now, that's not that big of a deal. It does kind of bother me because I like to try to contribute to the US economy as much as I can, and I feel as though initially Visconti saying that this is only going to be for the US market and then turning around and saying, oh, just kidding, it's now for the US market, kind of took away the choice from me on where I'm going to spend the money on how I acquire this pen. Same for the Northern Lights teal. Now, moving on, I'm not a politician. I don't like talking about politics myself, but let me go on to the ugly. The experience I had with this extra fine point Homo Sapien Jade was kind of bizarre. When I first got the pen, I was all excited and happy. Now, I bought it from Iguana Cell. They're a great retailer in Madrid, Spain. Here's the thing. When it shipped looking like this, right? Looks fine, right? Beautiful enameled clip, not laser engraved. It's enameled with some very sparkly, nice off-white colored enamel. Very nice looking, right? This is the original clip that came with the pen, but check this out. That finial, to me, like I said, I'm not a mineralogist, I can't get it to focus, but it's your standard Visconti finial. And it's fixed. It doesn't move, and it's crooked. It's not jade. Now, this to me was an issue because the marketing material that I had read for quite some time stated that this finial was going to have a jade stone on it. It was part of the appeal. It's part of the luxury of the pen. It's part of why it pulls such a hefty cost. Not having it is inexcusable. So what I did was I reached out to Visconti in Italy. I reached out to Iguanacel. I reached out to, who else did I reach out to? I reached out to the flagship store Visconti has in Italy. They reached out to the distributor in Madrid, Spain, and what ended up happening was Iguanacel acquired another cap from Visconti and sent me the cap, a replacement cap. Now, I'm going to put the brand new replacement cap that should have been on the pen in the first place and show it to you. Boom! Look at that. Your jade stone. I can't get it to focus. Now, once that was replaced, there we go. Once that was replaced, problem solved, right? No, upon further inspection, I did in fact discover that the Visconti Clip is slightly different. Look at that. It is a laser engraved clip instead of your enameled clip. Now, if you look very closely, it's going to be hard to tell, but they are right next to each other. There is no differential in terms of depth, but what I can tell you is that the laser engraved clip is shorter by about 3 millimeters than the enamel clip. So upon getting the other one that you saw me with, the medium point nib, I compared them all. The clips that are consistent are the enameled clip that are longer than the laser engraved clip. Now, small, minor detail. Is it worth crying over? No, I don't think so. But is it something that should have happened? No, it should not have happened. Especially for $1,150. It should not have happened. It's not something that should have been allowed to leave the factory or manufacturer without being noticed. Now, there's another thing that I want to talk about. With the exception of the clip that was replaced due to the lack of a jade stone, what I've been noticing about all of these clips is the following. If you look very carefully, do you see where the spring mechanism, I wish this would zoom in faster, the spring mechanism is where the clip attaches to the cap? If you look carefully, what you'll notice is the spring is visible. Not only is it visible, it is crooked and off to the side. It looks like sloppy work. It looks like a lack of attention to detail in this area. Now, I'm going to show you the replacement cap, which is significantly better. If you look at this one, you can see that the clip is far neater. There is no spring visible, whereas on the other ones, they're all visible and they're just not neatly assembled. Now, I know they're all crooked right here, but let me try to straighten them out for you. Take a very close look. This one here looks very meticulously made with a lot of attention to detail, whereas the other two over here, they're just messy. Now, like I said, is it something to cry about? No, not really. But for $1,150, all your dots, all your I's gotta be dotted, all your T's gotta be crossed, all your P's and Q's gotta be in place, and you gotta make sure everything's squared away, because you're gonna have some OCD nut like myself whining and complaining about it, and rightfully slow if you consider the amount of money paid. Now, of course, you can get it for a lesser price on Goulet pens or some of the other US retailers for $920, I think that might be it, but it's still something that is not excusable when you're asking for even $920. This is the review of my Homo Sapien Jade. I love the pen. I think it's really good. I think there are some issues that they need to square away. They need to make sure that they get on top of these little things, because it's the details and it's the devil in the details. I almost got that backwards. The devil's in the details, and the details are really important when you're asking for $1,150. Be well. I hope this helps. Take care.